want me? Do you need me? Do you want me?
What's up, guys? If you're new here, my name's Aaron. This is a car channel about all the cars that I've got, stuff like that. And yes, last episode I said that I would do a video on the 4th gen that I've picked up, but not going to happen today. I can't be bothered. But what I will say is I have had my daily, my BMW F30 3 Series for a year now. It's gone very quickly, and I thought I would show you all the things that I do and don't like about the car. Okay. Getting inside, you'll have to excuse all the mess inside the car. I did give it a quick clear out, but I can't bother to clean. The things that annoy me about the car, first of all, is this. Essentially, it's like, that should mean it's a nice car, right? It should do all the things you want it to do. And don't get me wrong, I'll get onto that later, all the things I do like, but automatic wipers aren't automatic. So you start the car, they should come on. I left them on. Like, now they're on, that should, yes, very annoying. If there's a setting for it, I've not found it yet. The second thing is, no matter what you leave the positions of the blowers and the heaters for the climate controllers and that sort of stuff, no matter what position you leave them in, they will always go back to this. If you leave the car parked for more than 5 minutes, they will go back to the feet and face positions on the heater controls. And I don't really use the climate control, so it shouldn't be anything to do with that. If I leave that on feet and window, as it should be on the driver's side there, as you can see, it goes back to the feet and face position every time I get in it, and it really winds me up. So it's another thing that grinds my gears about the BMW F30. When I was buying the car, I didn't think for a second about how much of a ball ache these wheels would be. They're really pretty, don't get me wrong, and they look great on this car. It's a big car, it needs big wheels, right? But these are 19s, and they've got, what, 225 40s on the front, and the staggered setup, so the wider on the rear. They're 255s on the rear, 255 35s. So these are some big ass wheels and some thin ass tyres for a heavy ass car. And at the time I thought, yeah, I'm flexing, I want to go and get a car with big shiny wheels and it's BMW and stuff like that, and it makes it look really pretty. But what I didn't think about was the most annoying thing about the car is the ride comfort. Now, don't get me wrong, this car, for what it is, drives fantastic. It's a really good handling car for what it is. You have to explain to your friends and family and stuff like that why it's so uncomfortable. You're like, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but that's because it's really fun to drive. But then on the flip side of things, you shouldn't have to do that. I mean, this was an expensive car. I shouldn't have to explain to my family and my friends why they're being jiggled around so much on such a normal road that any old Saab would do perfectly. So yeah, that's quite frustrating, and I think it's down to these wheels or the fact that it's an Msport. Now, the Msport thing's really good, and don't get me wrong, it drives fantastic, but the easiest way to explain it is it's like it's on really expensive coilovers, but it's not that low. As you can see, it's not lowered or anything silly like that. It just drives like it's on coilovers all the time, and for a daily driver that can get quite annoying. But then when you give it some, it's good fun to drive. Having said all of these things, let me explain about how much of a good car this is. It's better than all the negative things. I'm being picky because I paid a lot of money for it. I paid far too much money for it. But anyway, all the good things about this car, where do you start? It drives fantastic. It's a 20D admittedly, so it's very, very good on fuel. It's plenty powerful enough. It's got 185 horsepower, something like that. And then of course it's got plenty of torque. The gearbox is quite frankly the most amazing gearbox and the best thing about this car. It is incredible, the way that it changes gear, how smooth it is. And then when you can put it into Sport Plus with the button down here, that button down there, it can make it gives you like a jolt every time you change gear, and it can feel quite sporty as well. And for a 20D, it feels amazing to drive too. The drive system is fantastic. So when I bought the car, I went for the ProNav system. So I end up with a longer screen down at the bottom here with that MPG gauge inside the dial. And I get the bigger screen across here. Some of them are like chopped off to the center, but this one's quite a large one. And I also end up with this touch trackpad on the top of my iDrive control system, and it's slightly bigger knob and stuff like that. Using it day to day, you've got Bluetooth, sat nav, DAB radio in this one as well. A friend of mine bought a car similar to mine recently, and it was a year older. He didn't end up with a DAB radio. I don't really understand why that's a thing. Start the car back up, and then there's some little hidden features with this car that people don't know about. So when the side lights come on, you've got some vodka bar style lighting that comes down under here, and I'm really impressed with that. As another thing that really sold me with it. It comes along on the doors here and in here, that glows down onto the gear stick section. And also these buttons here along for the CD changer and stuff like that actually are hotkeys, so they're touch. As you can see, I'm just touching it, I'm not pressing it, and you can see I can scroll all the different hotkeys here just by touch. Vehicle information, and I wanted to show you the sport displays, which are relevant horsepower and torque, because it doesn't show you what you're actually making, but it's good fun anyway. If I wanted to put this in a hotkey position, so anything in the red bar inside the iDrive can be put into a hotkey. So if I hold down the button 2, there you go, it's saved that as a hotkey. So if I go back to the menu and go to multimedia, let's listen to the music I'm listening to or whatever. If I just push the button that I've just hotkeyed, it will bring the screen over to the sport displays without going through all the menus and stuff like that. So they are very, very useful. The heated seats, which warm up very, very, very quickly and sometimes get far too hot, but in a cold weather that we're in the moment, it's fantastic. 3 different settings on those. Some more things about the car while I'm sat inside. So you get this tray. Sometimes they go missing, but I got my guy from BMW, so you got this little tray that covers the cup holders there, which is very nice. That always ends up in my glove box for some reason. I've also got an ashtray here, which I use for storage for bolts for project cars and stuff like that, because I'm lazy. And we've got a massive glove box with a net at the top there, which is also very useful. So the gearbox with this car is quite frankly incredible. So start the car up and you put your car into comfort, which is what it sets itself to in the first place. You can go into Eco Pro. That means it changes gear earlier, it's more efficient, and it makes the throttle pedal very, very lazy. All you got to do is put it into drive and it goes again. It's the same with comfort. Comfort brings the revs up a little bit higher, so it's not as jolty being 20D. So it's a 4-cylinder engine. And also, starting the car again, pretty stupid, you can go into Sport and Sport Plus with dynamic traction control. So what this will do, and especially if I push the gear lever over into the manual mode, the gears end up more jolty, more aggressive. You can hang out the gears. If you're not in manual, it hangs the gears out for a longer period of time and you go right up around the revs, and it's all very, very good fun. Now the flappy paddles are fantastic, they're very responsive, and the gearbox is also very responsive as well. It's an 8-speed gearbox, and it spreads the power evenly all across all the gears perfectly. No faults with it at all, and especially when it gives you that jolt when you're changing gear in Sport Plus, it's great fun. So the last things I want to talk about is generally how the car looks. Now this car is a 64 plate. I can't remember when they started making the F30, but mine's a 64 plate, and I think they aged really well. I mean, what is it, 5 years old now? And driving alongside the LCI, which is the later version of it, and alongside even the newer version, which I prefer this shape over the newest version, 3 Series. I think it's aged very well. I don't think it looks like a 5-year-old car at all, especially when it's clean. The Astral Blue paint is fantastic in the right lighting. I think it's fantastic colour. I had to have mine in Astral Blue because why would you not? I think it looks good with black wheels. I've seen one with black wheels as well, and that looks fantastic. And the only thing I've done is to get rid of the only bit of chrome that was on the front, with these grills, but mine's already been blacked out around the window edge. Sometimes you can see those chrome too. Another fantastic bit about this car, I love the angel eyes on it. The LCI doesn't have the angel eyes, it's got like half of them, and I would rather it have the angel eyes. And the xenon headlamps, they're fantastic. They adjust as per what you have in the boot. Again, the tail lights, this comes on every 3 series of the F30, and they are fantastic looking tail lights too. They're brake indicators, and I think even the reverse are LEDs on the LCI, and they're slightly prettier, I will say. Okay, so yeah, that's after a year of ownership, that's the only things that I can pick out about the car. The rest of it is just fantastic. It's an amazing car. I don't regret buying it. One thing, I guess I miss Jap cars every so often, but then when you buy a daily driver and it wants to be a good one, I'd recommend it 100%. I did go to a BMW dealer and I did get a very low mileage one, and I don't really regret that. It's just the money, really. But yeah, if you're looking for a useful daily driver, then I recommend the F30 100%. Before I forget, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. If there's anything that I've missed that winds you up about your F30 or anything you do or don't like, then let me know. It was just a quick video to show you all that I've had the car for a year and I'm still enjoying it. Maybe there's some mods coming soon, I'm not sure. It depends whether I get rid of it in a hurry or not. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. There's plenty of more fun stuff coming soon, specifically with this. This is the 4th gen that I picked up. It needs some work. I need to sort out the tyre valve is leaking quite badly. Yeah, I hope you liked the video. I know it's quite boring. Again, I'd rather be sending peels everywhere and driving like a dick, but such is life. Everything's changed. I've moved house twice in the past year or so. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and if there's any videos you'd like to see me do on the F30 or the 5th gen Prelude or the 4th gen Prelude, please let me know.